Time now for sports on 104.7 The Cave. Here's Ned Reynolds.
Mike the intern, Ned Reynolds, back together again. It's Monday, and for the first time in what seems like a long time, we're actually going to have a 5-day week. So the regular season for the NFL came to an end yesterday. Chiefs couldn't pull it out, but you know what? It is what it is. In all contests, there always have to be a loser, and we'll just consider that. But we've been saying it all season. It's a league of parity, and take your pick as far as the parity goes as those final games yesterday.
Well, if there's a team that has to be just overwhelmingly disappointed with the system, number one, and with what they did, it's Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They deserve to be in there from the way the system worked. They had to beat the Carolina Panthers on Saturday, which they did. Saturday night game on TV, and it was a Tampa Bay Buccaneers victory. That puts them in. But no, that doesn't put them in. Sunday, Atlanta defeated New Orleans. The Atlanta Falcons beat the New Orleans Saints, and that created a three-way tie for the playoffs. Well, they don't have a playoff. All they do is go to the tiebreaker. And who wins the tiebreaker? The Carolina Panthers. They got beat Saturday night, shouldn't be in there, 500 team or less, and there they are in the playoffs, taking on the Los Angeles Rams. Or the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, it's the way it goes. It's what happens when you have tiebreakers like that. But you take care of business during the regular season, and you're going to be okay when the playoffs come around. But they didn't. They had some faltering moments. So the Carolina Panthers host the Rams, who are a pretty good team, which they did a couple of weeks ago, and won at home. Carolina won over the Rams at home in a big upset. And here they get the Rams again. Hey, there is no predicting. You got a 32-team league with 14 of them in the playoffs. That's what's going to happen. You have that kind of a circumstance.
It's crazy that a team that's 8-9 is getting into the playoffs. That, to me, is insane. But you got to feel for the Bucs. I saw some of the videos, some of the coaches, and, of course, Baker Mayfield watching that game from home, hoping that their team could win so they could get in, but that was not the case. I will say, though, in that game specifically, the Bucs-Carolina game, there were some atrociously missed calls that would have led to a Carolina victory. Personally, at least that's the way I see it. So either way, at least it corrected itself. But the Panthers got hosed in that game.
Well, the officiating that you make reference to has gone on all season long. This has been a terrible year for officials in the NFL, and in some respects in the colleges too.
Here's the thing, though. The contract with the unions at the end of the year. So I have a feeling that it's going to get worse before it gets better. But here's the even bigger thing. Referees in college sports are full-time employees. Referees in the National Football League are part-time employees.
Well, I'm going to correct you just a little bit. Not in college, they aren't all full-time. There's several of them, a number of them who I happen to know are retired individuals, and they retired from their jobs early and taking this up full-time. But in regards to a full-time occupation, they get paid as though it should be because they're well reimbursed for what they do in big college games. Now, the lower you go, the less, of course, the amount is, but it's still pretty good, nevertheless, and that's why guys want to get in there, and gals, for that matter, want to get in there and learn it. But they're not getting the proper training that they have. They're boosting them too quickly, especially in the NFL, and I think that really does hurt them. But over and above all that, hey, it has not been at the level that fans expected to be, and in my take, and this is my opinion, the credibility of the games, and I'm going to put it plural, not just one, the games has been fractured because of that.
Horribly. I mean, you got a guy ripping a helmet off another player right in front of an official, and he doesn't do anything about it. And that's just one example over many games this year of things that happen right in front of officials where you're just like, what in the hell? Kansas City Chiefs obviously fell to the Raiders in their final regular season game. Wasn't really holding out hope. I was surprised that they gave them a little bit of a fight towards the end, but there were some good things as far as like I've been saying the last few weeks. You got to treat these last few games like preseason games. You're giving other guys a chance to play. Will it be Kelsey's final game as a Chief? Who knows? But at the end of the day, we're getting a top 10 pick in the draft this year.
Number 10.
Yep.
As a matter of fact, that's where the Chiefs are slated to be and where they probably will be. This is a game, I think the good factor about it was that they played. Both teams got out there and played hard. The Chiefs on defense, I thought, played very well.
Really
Watch
good.
Chris Jones in there. I thought he'd probably hang it up and just slog through the motions, but he didn't. He was in there. They played hard. But in terms of a game, there are no touchdowns. There were no touchdowns in the game. It was all field goals and a safety and a 14-12 win for the Raiders. And they win it on a field goal by Daniel Carlson. That's no fluke. Daniel Carlson's a terrific kicker. Heck, he is all-time great in the Southeastern Conference at Auburn when he played there and has been with the Raiders. But I did like Odelaken and Buechele when they got in there and played. But still, it was not the same kind of rhythm, and the Chiefs weren't ready for it. Mahomes needs to be back there. I hope, having been through this myself, of course, I'm not a professional athlete, but having been through myself with knee and hip operations, it takes time to recover. And that time does not happen automatically, folks. I know that Mahomes will get in there and he'll give it his all in rehab and so forth. But your body is another story. It heals at its own pace. And hopefully that own pace will be allowed enough to allow him to get back into regular season play, but don't want to rush him. You do not. That's a tough knee operation that he had.
There's a lot of talent going into the free agency as far as running backs go. I think the Chiefs' best move is to pull one of those backs out of free agency, cut loose some weight, do some restructuring, and go for that edge rusher in the draft. If we can pull that up, that would be
edge rusher would be a very big deal. It would be. You're right about free agency, but we're overlooking the fact that this is Black Monday too, and the coaches are customary in getting candidate. One's already happened. Raheem Morris, he got let go by the Falcons, but there will be others as the day goes on.
Now we got the semifinals set for the College Football National Championships. Man, some great competition. And I have a feeling in the next few years you're going to see a lot of kids that went to Indiana starting in the National Football League.
They're a very good team. There is no question about it. They're a very good team. I thought there's a chance that they might be bogus and that Alabama might, in fact, light them up. But not only did that not happen, Alabama got lit up. 38-3, I think, was the final. Indiana just owned them. I'm a little bit surprised at the survivors, Ole Miss, Miami. When that does come up. Ole Miss, I thought Georgia would be there. Miami's upset of Ohio State did not surprise me that much. Yes, I know Ohio State should have won, but I also thought the Buckeyes really didn't play at a championship level down the stretch of the season, losing to Indiana in the championship game. It was just a different story altogether. So Miami's win, I'm not shocked by it. Oregon certainly put it to Texas Tech with no questions about it. That was a dominant victory. And Indiana, we mentioned them in the Rose Bowl over Alabama. So you have Oregon versus Indiana and Ole Miss against Miami, and the winners will play for the championship. I really thought Georgia would be there, but they are not. So it's on to the College Football National Championship after this weekend, and those games are Thursday and Friday. Mm-hmm. And you say, wait a minute, why not Friday and Saturday? They ain't going head-to-head with the NFL.
Nope,
folks.
not on Wild Card Weekend, they're not. But, again, I bless them because it gives us something to watch on Thursday. And, I mean, Miami, Ole Miss, that's going to be a hell of a game. And then Friday night, if your wife will let you, Oregon, Indiana, where you can just go watch the game with Ned at Metro. Either way, it's going to be a lot of fun. And then Saturday and Sunday, of course, a lot of really good NFL wild card games. I kept talking to my friends in other chats yesterday. I know it sucks that for the first time in a decade the Chiefs aren't in the playoffs, but at the same time, it's been kind of nice to be able to sit there and watch games and not have anything to care about and just watch it. So.
Unless you have some chocolate chips on the game.
Well, you know me, I don't have any chocolate chips, so I can't bet if you don't have it.
Yeah, but I'm not talking about you personally. I'm talking about the masses. They may, hey, the Chiefs aren't in there. We can't relax. We've got chips on this one, got chips on another one. Anything can happen.
Sounds like the conversation got a little too personal. What happened on the college basketball scene this weekend?
Well, the Missouri State Bears got a couple of wins over the weekend. The Bears beat Texas El Paso on Friday night and then beat New Mexico State on Sunday. The Mexico State game I was there for, wasn't there for UTEP. But New Mexico State's, a veteran team that's been around. They're very, very athletic. And they, put on some terrific moves, some tomahawk slams underneath. Problem is they couldn't shoot very well from the perimeter, and that surprised me a little bit. They also faltered when they saw the Bears' defense at the start of the game. So Missouri State comes away with the win, 89-82, and that's a very nice win for Missouri State. Now, they do have to go to Las Cruces, New Mexico in a couple of weeks. It might be a little bit different out there, but we'll see. Lady Bears got a win in Miami. Of course, anytime you're going to Miami, you're going to win. But Miami is the home for Florida International University, and the Lady Bears beat them 80-69. Now, the Lady Bears return home for a couple of games later on this week. Mizzou played Florida. It was Mizzou's SEC opener, and they just got by. The Tigers won it on a goal at the buzzer by 2 points, 76-74 over the Florida Gators. Arkansas had a very impressive win over Tennessee. Drury's team split with William Jewell. The Lady Panthers, Drury Lady Panthers, won their game decisively, holding William Jewell to 34 points. The guys lost their game 73-69. So we had a pretty good weekend of basketball, and that's a lot of fun. That's what it's about.
Yeah, kind of switching gears a little bit, at least in my world, it was announced that Avery's going to be back with the Wildcats to play for Coach Klein next year. So that's I'm glad he's coming back to play one more year at the Wildcats.
Coach Klein is a magnet for bringing in. Now, this guy was one of the Kansas State's all-time great players back, 2012, 2013, somewhere around there. And new coach coming in, who is, of course, Klein, and he can bring in those guys and teach them a lot of good quarterbacking. He's a smart guy and was a very good player. Didn't do so much in the pros, but that doesn't make any difference. Not everybody's a good pro player.
It's like 1.6% of all NCAA college football players make it as starters in the NFL. Right. And that's like just after 300 get invited to the combine. It's crazy stats to even get to start. But in that regard, Missouri State Bears have a new football coach. When are we going to get to meet him?
Today. He meets the public today. This is interesting because Casey Woods had been, and the Bears were okay with this. Obviously, Southern Methodist was. He was Southern Methodist offensive coordinator and did a very good job. Well, SMU played in a bowl game on Friday night. They played Arizona in the Holiday Bowl out in San Diego, California, and won the game 24-19, had a 24-0 lead. And, in fact, squandered that lead, almost gave it away. But Southern Methodist got the win over Arizona, 24-19. Casey Woods gets on the plane, comes here. He will meet the public today at 1 o'clock at the Great Southern Bank Arena. Should be a very gala event, and the public is invited to it.
So that's why you're wearing those nice clothes today. You have a good day. I'll see you tomorrow.